All right, let's jump right in and demystify exactly how mutual funds operate behind the scenes. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to take a really fascinating journey right under the hood of your investments, breaking down the entire life cycle of a mutual fund. We're talking everything from the very moment it's created all the way to the second that cash finally hits your bank account. You know, for most of us, it's so easy to just open an app, click buy, and completely forget about it. But understanding the actual real-world mechanics of your investment is absolutely crucial for your financial success. When you truly know the rules of the game, like how units are priced, how your money is actually routed, and how taxes apply, you can make vastly better decisions for your own portfolio. So to do this, we're going to follow the complete chronological journey of an investor, step by step. Our roadmap looks like this. We'll start with the new fund offer, move right into choosing your plans, navigate that KYC paperwork, look at the payment gateways, and wrap up with tracking and redeeming your units. This is going to make all those seemingly complex operational rules incredibly accessible. Okay, starting with Section 1, the new fund offer, or basically how a fund is born. You can kind of think of an NFO, a new fund offer, as a highly anticipated movie premiere for a mutual fund before it hits regular syndication. It's the very first time units are offered to the public. As it goes from a simple idea to a fully regulated product, the AMC plans the scheme, SEBI gives it the green light, and then it opens for a really limited window at a fixed face value, which is almost always 10 rupees. Once that window closes, the money is deployed into the market, and the fund reopens for everyday trading at its newly calculated net asset value, or NAV. Moving on to Section 2, choosing your investment plan. This is your fork in the road. Once a fund is actually active, you face a crucial decision about how you want to participate and, more importantly, pay for the management. Think of it like wholesale versus retail shopping. The direct plan is like wholesale. It's purchased straight from the fund house. Because there's no middleman distributor, there are zero commission fees, which saves you directly on the total expense ratio. The regular plan, on the other hand, is routed through a distributor and bakes in their commission, meaning you're looking at a higher expense ratio. And because of these fee differences, the AMC maintains totally separate and usually higher NAVs for the direct plan. Now, let's break down the options within those plans. Once you pick direct or regular, you have to choose how to handle your returns. If you choose the income distribution payout, which we used to just call the dividend option, you get literal cash in your bank. But the NAV drops by that dividend amount, and yep, you pay taxes on it. In the reinvestment option, the NAV still drops, you still owe the tax, but the cash automatically buys you more units instead of hitting your bank. And then there's the growth option, where nothing is paid out at all. The NAV simply captures all those portfolio gains entirely. Let's make that reinvestment option concrete for a second, because the math is actually fascinating. Imagine your fund declares a 100 rupees dividend. If the scheme's ex-dividend NAV, so the price right after that dividend is removed, is 11 rupees, the fund simply divides 100 by 11, meaning you magically get 9.09 additional units added to your portfolio without lifting a single finger. All right, Section 3, the application and KYC. Who actually gets to play? Before you can go out and buy those units, we have to look at the paperwork. The really cool thing here is that almost anyone is eligible to invest. We're talking resident adults, Hindu undivided families, NRIs, and even qualified foreign investors. But, and this is a big but, your specific legal entity determines the exact mountain of paperwork required. A great example of this specific paperwork is when you're investing for a minor. When you invest for a child, the money can't just magically appear from anywhere. SEBI modified the rules recently, so payment has to come exclusively from the minor's bank account or a joint account with the guardian. And here's the kicker. The absolute second the child turns 18, the guardian's access is immediately frozen until the new adult updates their own KYC and bank details. No exceptions. And speaking of KYC, you simply cannot skip it. It requires your PAN validation, your proof of address, the whole shebang. But it actually goes beyond borders now. Because of international agreements like FATCA, you have to explicitly disclose if you are a tax resident in any country other than India, and you have to provide your taxpayer reference ID for that specific nation. Oh, and please don't forget about succession. SEBI has really streamlined this process lately. As of September 30, 2023, investors are literally forced to actively decide on a nominee. You have to either officially name someone to inherit your mutual fund units, or you have to sign an explicit declaration totally opting out. Honestly, it's a fantastic safeguard to make sure your assets are protected for your family. Next up, Section 4, making mutual fund payments. Let's see how the money actually moves. So you've picked your fund, chosen your plan, and somehow survived the KYC paperwork. Now, how do you actually fund the thing? Well, the options have modernized dramatically. While traditional checks and demand drafts do technically still exist, digital modes have completely revolutionized the speed of these transactions. Internet banking, NEFT, and RTGS are totally standard now. UPI makes mobile investing basically instantaneous. You can even use e-wallets, though keep in mind those are strictly capped at 50,000 rupees per investor per financial year. Now, during a new fund offer, you actually have access to this brilliant facility called ASBA, or Application Supported by Blocked Amount. ASBA is a fantastic safeguard because your money doesn't actually leave your account when you apply. It's literally just blocked. So it keeps earning interest right there in your bank account, and the funds are only debited if and when you are actually allotted the mutual fund units. For your ongoing investments, the one-time mandate, or OTM, is going to be your best friend. By filling out just one form, you register your bank account with the National Automated Clearinghouse. You set a maximum daily limit, and from that point on, you completely eliminate the hassle of manually pushing payments. It allows for totally frictionless, automatic debits for your SIPs or even sudden lump sum purchases. But we do need to talk about these strict rules on how money moves. To prevent money laundering, cash is heavily restricted. It's capped at 50,000 rupees per year, and that's only for small investors without PANs who meet very specific criteria. Furthermore, third-party payments, like trying to pay from someone else's bank account, are completely banned. The name on the bank account absolutely must match the mutual fund folio, save for a few minor exceptions like parents gifting money to their young children. Finally, Section 5, Tracking and Redeeming Units. Time to reap the rewards. We have officially reached the end of the journey. You've invested the money. Now, how do you actually monitor your progress? Well, you're kept in the loop through some pretty rigorous reporting. If you make a transaction, you get a monthly statement. If you don't do anything, you still get an annual one. But the absolute crown jewel here is the Consolidated Account Statement, or CAS. Linked across all asset management companies via your PAN, your CAS acts as your ultimate financial dashboard, giving you a complete bird's-eye view of every single fund you own. Everywhere, issued every half year. Say your dashboard shows you need to rebalance your portfolio, you don't actually have to cash out entirely. You can use what's called a switch transaction. This brilliantly illustrates market efficiency. It's a dual action that redeems your investment from one scheme and immediately uses that exact money to purchase units in another scheme, assuming it's within the same fund house. It's absolutely perfect for quickly adjusting your strategy without waiting days for money to hit your bank account and clear. But of course, when you do want your hard-earned cash, you initiate a redemption. And here is a vital rule you have to remember. When you hit redeem, the system always sells your oldest units first. This is known as the first in, first out, or FIFO basis. Your payout is calculated based on that exact day's specific NAV minus any applicable exit loads if you happen to be redeeming early. And the best part? You don't have to worry about a check getting lost in the mail anymore. Payouts are highly secure now. SEBI basically mandates that redemption proceeds and dividends must be electronically credited directly to the pre-verified bank account that's linked to your folio. It's fast, it's secure, and it's fully transparent. So we've covered the entire life cycle today, all the way from that NFO premiere right down to the direct credit hitting your bank account. And I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Does your current mutual fund strategy actually match what you just learned today? Now that you know the hidden mechanics of how your investments truly operate, it's time to log into your account, pull up that consolidated account statement, and make sure your portfolio is working exactly the way you intended. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer. Keep learning